Hey, what's up, comrades? I apologize if I sound a little off. I'm a little sick. Um, but we're here to talk about Sugarplum. Sugarplum's a funny Hallmark movie. It's got the typical. So the main character lady doesn't look as terrible as like some of these Hallmark movies with like all the plastic surgery and whatnot. And there's not really a romance in this one, so this is like a very unique situation. Now that all being said, it's more of like a family drama, and I don't like it as much. Not gonna lie, like it's just I don't know. This is probably the worst movie out of this whole series that I watched this month. Like it just seemed much more like shallow. And I think part of it is that it kind of cribs on other Christmas movies, which was kind of humorous. I don't want to say funny because I never laughed. I was just kind of like, oh, I see what they're doing there. That's okay, I guess. So the titular, I think that's how you say it, character, Sugarplum, she is from like a magical world where like Christmas stuff always works out. So essentially they're making fun of like all the Hallmark movies that they've made over the last several years about Christmas. You know, she quotes like princes and always having money and the girl leaving her job from the big city and going out to the rural, like all the stuff I kind of like, if you look at my descriptions of these movies, I make like a tally of. This movie doesn't really have any of that. It's got dead parent. In fact, it's got two dead parents, it seems, which is again unusual because usually just one dead parent. But the main character, let's see if I wrote down her name. She was super boring. Most of this was pretty boring, to be completely honest. Emily. So Emily is a lawyer, and then everyone's like super busy. Like the daughter thinks she's going to be a rock star, and she's trying to get into Berkeley, which is funny because that's where I did my undergrad. And so that was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. That's a waste of her money. She shouldn't do that. Like, after having gone to school there and having been in playing in bands with like people who became famous later on, the universal decision me and like these other people have made, not that I did anything famous. I maybe worked on some like student movies and some like indie video games no one's ever played. But before I moved on to other things in my life. But we all agree that like, hey, all that money that's spent, because that school is expensive, and like it would have been better off just like investing in yourself and practicing and trying to make connections kind of on your own, just like living in like a big city like LA or Boston or New York or whatever. But it's neither here nor there. So the best advice I can give this teenage girl in this show is don't do it. Just start a band with your friends at home and just make some YouTube videos. And like, honestly, the actress who plays the daughter, sweetie, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you are not attractive enough to be a rock star. That's a fact. Anyway, all that aside, and then the dad, so then the son does like TikTok dances, but doesn't want to share them with anyone. And he's super embarrassed about it. And it's got some other like weird hang-ups about like fitting in high school or something. And he looks like he's 18, 19, but he's supposed to be 14, I guess. So there's like a whole subplot with that and whatnot that is like barely there. That's the thing. There's a lot of like random stuff going on that kind of gets like shoved in here. And it's like when the movie's just being about like Sugarplum doing Sugarplum things, like the miracles of Christmas or whatever, it's kind of all right. But it deviates from that pretty strongly. And then the message at the end of the day is the best Christmas is not necessarily the perfect Christmas. It's the Christmas you get to spend with your family, which is like, I like that message and I agree with it, but I just felt like it didn't do a good job of it at all. Like it was like a little too silly, if that makes sense. Like not silly in a funny way, just silly as in like, what's happening? Like this is kind of silly. And then it did like all magically come together at the end anyway. Like the story kind of like bounced all over the place. And so that the reason I'm not like gotten into the plot is because there's almost like multiple plots going on at the same time that like sort of have something to do with like the main plot, but not really, because the main plot is just about, okay, so the main plot is Emily is like, she has a checklist of things and her mom always had a checklist, and you find out that her mom always had a checklist because one year their house like burned down over Christmas, or they got robbed or something, and then they had to go stay in like a hotel, and it's like her favorite Christmas memory that she has because it was just like her family hanging out together. You don't meet any of the rest of these people. So then years later she's married, she's got two teenage kids and a husband, and he's busy trying to like not get fired at like the architectural firm that he works at, right? He's an architect, of course. She's a lawyer, so she has like an actual real job that makes money. uh, and then there is what's going on over here? Um, oh, did they do an Aloha Christmas again? That would be fucking awesome. That thing is sweet as hell. I gotta look into that. Could just be like a fucking thing. Anyway, sorry, I'm driving to work. So where was I? Oh yeah, so and then the kids are just like awful, and I don't like them. So when they are like satisfied with their stuff, it's like I don't really care. And then people just like pop up out of nowhere, and then there's like everything works together. So the movie's not like written poorly at all, because like there'll be references to characters, and then they'll show up, and then it's like, why do we get to know this character? And it's like, oh, for more of this like magical bullshit where like everyone has a happy Christmas, which is like a sweet message. But also, you spent like the first half of the movie telling me that like magic doesn't happen, and then like things don't just work out for people, and then everything works out for everybody always. So anyway, so she's like trying to get this list going, and there's like her I think she calls her assistant, but she looks like a paralegal. So this paralegal is like watching Christmas movies on her computer instead of doing her fucking job at work. And the boss is just like, oh, well, tee-hee. And I'm like, there's not a single law firm in this country that that would be like an oh, well, tee-hee moment. But anyway, so there's like this series of movies called like Sugarplum or something, and it's always about this magical fairy lady named Sugarplum who like solves all the world's problems through Christmas magic or whatnot. Anyway, the main woman, she's like at her office for some reason she's storing like Christmas stuff there instead of like spending time with her family, and we get to meet all her family, and they're all just like duds, and it's like, sweetie, you could do better. Anyway, so then she is like, something I'm at work and I find this thing, and there's like a note, and it's like, oh, if you hold this Christmas like star and make a wish, it'll happen. So she wishes that like everything's gonna work out on her list, and then Sugarplum like comes to life, and then they have like a series of adventures, and like this first part of the movie is like actually okay, right? Because it's just like hilarious. It's kind of funny because it's like the lady is like, I don't believe this, I don't believe in magic or any of this stuff, and the Sugarplum keeps like pulling these like Christmas miracles by following like her guidebook of like how to be like a Hallmark Christmas movie. Like for example, they need to pay for something, and she just like pulls out like a crown she got from some prince in like a previous movie, and like everything, and then the guy's like, holy cow, that's worth a lot of money, and so they sell it so they can like pay for whatever. And then like she goes to like the kid, like one of the sons like bring a parent to school day to talk about their job because his real parents are too busy, and she talks about how she makes Christmas miracles happen, and then she uses some sort of snow globe to make it snow in the school, and everyone has like a good time in a snow fight. And then she like cuts down a neighbor's tree because like the perfect Christmas tree just like shows up where it needs to show up, and then it's perfect. And she like enters Emily's like home in like a Christmas contest, and like she wins it or whatever. So it's like everything looks great, and then like halfway through the movie it just is like, oh wait, you're gonna go to jail because you cut down like this neighbor's house, and you caused the school's charging you with like trespassing, or there's like all this stupid bullshit. And it's just kind of like, I was just like, oh okay, that's what they're doing. And then she gets distraught because she's like, oh no, maybe Christmas miracles don't happen. And there's a whole thing with like Emily is helping some lady who's trying to keep like some snow lodge in like the family, but some guy wants to buy it to like develop it, and she doesn't know she's gonna pay for it or something. And then Sugarplum makes like some impassioned speech, or like tricks the guy into thinking about how he wants Christmas to happen and stuff. And so then the guy goes on a date with this girl because it's like Christmas miracles, and that's how these movies work. And then later on you find out like, no, he was just tricking her to get the lodge. Now the lady's mad at Emily or whatever. But then at the end of the movie, they're like engaged and they're keeping the lodge the way it should be. And I was like, the fuck movie, like what? And then the dad's boss is like mad because he had to leave work because he's like he got divorced. Now his whole thing's about like work, which is like a very army thing. Like the worst sergeants and commanders are the ones who just like never want to leave work because they're like divorced and have no kids, and so they're just like miserable and they just work all the time, and so everyone else has to work all the time, and it's like, stop being an asshole. Anyway. And so they end up at like this Christmas pageant at the end, and like the family's all mad because Emily's so concerned about her list and not about her family, and that she never listens to the daughter or the son or anything. And I'm like, oh, okay. and then everything like works out. Like the boss of the dad, he like shows up, and then he bumps into like the neighbor lady, and they're like old friends, and they're both single because their spouses died, and so they get together. And then the dad's like, if you're gonna make me work on Christmas, I'm gonna quit, and I'm gonna take everyone with you and start a rival firm. And the guy's like, you know what, you're right, I've been treating you guys poorly. And I'm like, bro, if it's so easy to just quit and start a rival firm, like fucking do it. Like fuck this guy. Anyway, and then the daughter gives like a little Christmas, like she plays guitar and sings at the school, and I guess there's going to be like a talent agent from Berkeley, which is not how that fucking works, like in the audience to see if she deserves to go there. And it's like, bro, you just like send an application in with like a video of you doing something, and then you come in, and then they like that's your audition. Like they don't show up to your place. Like the fuck. Anyway, it's like talent scouts. Like, Lord, like going to Berkeley is going to automatically make you like famous. Like hell no, it's a school. They just want your money. Like if you apply and you're not like retarded, then they will accept you. Anyway. And then the son has like his video leaks online of him doing like his TikTok dance, and he's like, oh no, my life is ruined. And then like the pretty girl at school is like, oh hey, I liked your video, we should hang out. And he's like, tee-hee. And then Sugarplum's like, tee-hee. And then she like wins the contest for the Christmas pageant or whatever, the house, I don't know. Like it all, like it's like, oh, the show's like, oh no, miracles don't happen, and then miracles all do happen because I don't know, just because. But it wasn't because of magic, it was because of whatever reason. And I'm like, dude, I've watched like 50 of these like Hallmark movies over the last couple of years, and like magic is like virtually never involved except The Night Before Christmas, which honest to God is the best one of these movies. So maybe these movies need to have more magic. Because normally it's just like I'm a prince or I'm a princess and I visit like a rural town in America, or like I'm like an aging, I don't know, writer, and I inherit something, or I buy like a manor in like England and then I can revitalize it. Like there's no magic. It's just like people just like making different decisions in their life and things just like working out, right? There's just no complications with like drama or whatever. And so my biggest problem with Sugarplummed is honestly it was just kind of boring, and I didn't care about like any of the characters. And so I don't know if it's because they like went away from their tried and true formula of being delightful and making me just feel good, right? Or if it's just like, you know, they were trying to make fun of themselves, but the people they hire are like not good at that. They're good at making like these nice dramas, and so it was like a confusing mess of like, what am I supposed to get out of this? And like, what's happening? And so yeah, that's Sugarplummed. It's honestly the only one on here. There's like 5 movies that I've watched this month that are do not recommend. Like I would not watch this. Like this is gonna get deleted. I'm never gonna think about it again or watch it again. It was bad. Like not bad as in like oh my, like funny bad. It was just like boring and like yeah, like I guess not garbage. But it's like, why would I watch this on Christmas when there's like so many other like thousands of better movies than this that are like delightful? Like I'd rather fucking watch like one of those old like comedies like the National Lampoon's Christmas or something, you know, which I hate that movie. It's stupid. But if you know, it's better than this, like way better than this. This is just like a boring slog. So yeah, not recommended whatsoever. That's Sugarplummed. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.